All right, welcome to the Shop Talk edition of Talk Commerce. Today I have Scott Hendrickson with Firmly. Scott, go ahead, do an introduction. Tell us your day-to-day role, one of your passions in life.
Okay, cool. Great. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Great to be here in Chicago. So Scott Hendrickson, I'm Chief Revenue Officer at the company. 2-year journey. We're in this organization. Passions for life. I got to tell, give me a beach, or tropical destination somewhere, with my family is always top of my list, man. Beyond that, Eagles fan. So go Birds.
Yeah. I
But I'm one of the
was,
nice Eagles fans.
there
Okay,
you go.
I'm not one
Yeah.
of the bad ones. We have a tough reputation.
I was running the day of the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. I saw tons of Eagle fans. It was like -10. It was like 2018, I think, when the Eagles were in the Super Bowl. Actually, they were all very nice. It was a great event. And Minneapolis did a great show for the Super Bowl. They had snowmobiles in the downtown with jumps. It was crazy. So
It was a
anyways,
great game. It's a Minneapolis is a lovely, lovely destination. I prefer it in the summer,
yeah, ditto. Yeah.
not in the winter.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We had this conversation in our green room. Yes. So Firmly, just give us the elevator pitch about Firmly.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that what the company is set out to build about 5 years ago, was well ahead of its time, and they took several years to build out a technology that enables a consumer to check out with a merchant, regardless of where they might be. And if you look 5 years ago, it was a very different environment. But the idea is that if a consumer is on a publisher site, if they are in an AI search engine, if they if they see an ad unit, that rather than redirecting to the merchant site, we could actually the idea is that you could actually pull the merchant site into that native environment to make it easier for the consumer to transact. And in doing that, so long as the merchant's the merchant of record, which is at the very core premise of what our technology enables, then it's a win for absolutely everybody in that ecosystem, whether it be the merchant, whether it be the consumer or itself. And so if you fast forward to where we are here today at Shop Talk, and with all the conversations around agentic commerce, exciting space. And we are very fortunate that the timing is working out pretty well for us, because there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of interest for us to help the
Yeah, I think Agentic hit hard at ETEL in February. Everybody was the buzzword. I mean, it was been around before that, but the buzz in the industry really happened this spring. And I was at ETL Boston, and I posted a panel, and I asked, is anybody doing it yet? There's a whole bunch of merchants in the room, and nobody's actually deployed an agent so there's agentic in the terms of having a chatbot on your site, but there's not anybody deploying agents out to buy things. But I just saw Google now has created a standard for payments for agentic commerce, right?
Well, let's unpack that all a little bit, because I think that this is it's a transformational moment for the ecosystem at large, and everybody sees what's coming, right? Um, and in that, everyone is talking about the same oversimplified use cases of what this utopian experience might be, which is that there's going to be an agent who's going to go and buy absolutely everything for you, and there's going to be no human involvement. And it's just not real, right? Like, if we think about not that it's not real, it's that consumer behavior and consumer shop behavior is built on a multitude of different shopping journeys, right? It is not just one. And everybody talks about, in the Google announcement that hit yesterday, which we're very supportive of, by the way, the idea that agent, I want to travel to Tampa, Florida, with my family, and hotel for me for under $700. Okay, like, if you think through that, if this agent could understand what my wife enjoys, please, I am all for it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, not real. The number of choices that go into that specific action, right, I think go far beyond what an agent might be capable of actually
Yes.
doing to make
Yeah,
the
yeah.
consumer satisfied and happy.
Yes.
because right, it's a and I emphasize on that because I think a lot of the conversations we're having are technology first. They're not consumer first,
Yes.
right?
I agree.
And
Yeah.
so if you think about the consumer and you think about the advent of what AI commerce can enable, it can come to life in a lot of different shopping journeys and a lot of different places. So, as an example, the example that I just referenced, which is an autonomous purchase, might work really well if it's in a environment and with a merchant that the consumer already knows, trusts, and uses on a regular basis. So if it's using DoorDash, if it's Wegmans, right, to
Mm-hmm.
place your grocery order, um, Wegman agents go to please have Wegmans place my grocery order from last week. However, add a pound of bananas and I don't need the rice. Okay. And
Right.
then the agent goes and does that. That's a lot of the purchase consideration has already been done in that. The trust is established, right? They know what they're getting. Another journey would be in AI, I think in an AI search engine where a consumer might be looking for a gift idea for a daughter's birthday party, and looking to buy a gift for an 8-year old girl.
Yep.
And so in that scenario, please give me product recommendations of what an 8-year-old girl might like who enjoys unicorns, ballet, and blue.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so then product recommendations come that are being sourced from different likely publishers or other
Yep.
inputs, right? And in that scenario, being able to understand what the product recommendations are so the consumer can visually see and explore right at the top of the funnel and start working their way down, right, I think is something that is important, and something that an agent independently probably isn't going to go do. You need the content, you need the context, you need the visuals in order to do that. So then when the consumer says yes, and maybe the qualifier would be, and make sure they are in stock for a delivery by tomorrow at 12 p.m. Right. So now all those recommendations are there. They pick what they want, right? Because they see the product, they understand the price, like it all works based on a specific moment. They hit transaction happens. And so if we think through that experience, right, and that
Yeah. And
experience
that
could
experience is
happen
closer to happening now.
happening
Yeah.
now, and that could happen inside an AI search engine. It could happen inside of a publisher, right? You think about all the product
Yeah.
recommendations that are being produced, right? How does a publisher leverage that content in a way and then allow the consumer to buy then and there versus a redirect, which creates 10 to 15 clicks, and then you lose the consumer versus just being able to buy now
Mm-hmm.
instantly. That's the user experience that firmly is powering today.
Okay.
It's something that we believe serves a multitude of different consumer journeys in a lot of different consumer touch points. And we think is a consumer first,
Yeah, no,
right?
that's a great way to look at it. I've heard a lot of people say in the last 6 months that the D2C website is going to go away. It's going to get replaced by the AI tools, and like you said, there's going to be sort of this general area where not a general, but it's just going to be the experience is going to be through your Chat GPT to purchase something, and there's no need for a website. It's all going to be headless. They're going to go to your API and they're not going to scrape anything. What do you think about that?
Completely disagree.
Good, we're
Okay.
on the same page.
Okay. So if you think about the world that we're all in today, you still have dominance with, let's say, Google, right? And a couple search engines, right? And they dominate a lot. There's still a plethora of let's call it vertical solutions that deliver on consumer need. And today they come in the form of websites and like in different a lot of these websites still have a search function that's in there. A lot of people don't use them to the way
Mm-hmm.
that you might. I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see the continuation of verticalized experiences that are specific consumer needs. And so that could be, as an example, Vogue, right? If you're looking for fashion tips, right, then trying to stay on top of fashion trends, trusting a, a brand and an experience that is like a Vogue is going to serve certain considerations.
Yeah.
For me, if it's you're looking for a outdoor enthusiast, right? Outdoor enthusiast, and looking for different outdoor gear and things like that, right? You might go to a more niche experience because you know that the
Yeah.
content and the data that's surfacing and the humans that are surfacing that content and helping to your specific personalized needs is what is what's going to deliver on that on that for that consumer. And so if you're then fast forward to the brands, the I look at a world where Nespresso, I'm a loyal Nespresso, I'm a very loyal Nike consumer, right? And so in those experiences, I'm still going to go to or want to buy from those different DTCs. Now, how am I going to could evolve a little,
Right. There'll
it-
be multiple
but
channels.
photographs and videos are
Yeah,
still going to exist
exactly.
because we as consumers still need to explore, still need to understand, like, the idea that the most loyal customers, yes, I transact in different ways with a brand, but that doesn't mean that all, like, what defines the brand and how you explore and understand a brand still needs to exist. That's not going to happen through an agent.
Right. And they're not going to be, I think the brands aren't going to want to give up that customer experience to ChatGPT and say, hey, just do everything through our little portal. And one interesting thing that I heard at the other event I was at was the merchant or the SI said, show me your Amazon homepage. And are you proud of it? Like, well, you can't do a lot with your Amazon homepage, right? You can do a little bit to customize it. If you're a brand, uh, think North Face or something, they're selling on Amazon. Their experience on NorthFace.com is much different than experience on Amazon/North Face or whatever.
Sure.
And I don't think that anybody's going to want to give up that experience that you have, the opportunity, and also just like you said, content of Vogue or something like that. You're going to want people to come to your site eventually because you have more of an opportunity to capture and keep that client.
Well, so I guess I have a few things to unpack there. One, I don't think that every consumer journey requires that the consumer go to the merchant's
Yeah.
website. I
Yeah.
think that I think brands need to open up and expand their horizon. It's kind of the same way as when e-commerce hit, you had a lot of merchants back in the day saying, I need them to go to my store. I need them to go to my store, right?
Right.
Digital's not real. I can't make any money there. It's like, okay, like we are in that same moment
Yes.
today. And so, but what's critically important, right, is that as that happens, being able to remain the merchant of record should be a non-negotiable,
Right.
right? And so at least that's our belief, and that's why we built the technology that we did,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't should not be giving up the lifetime value
Right.
of that consumer to the tech giants. We've all learned we love tech giants, right? Across the board. Tech giants create a huge value, and however, they also, can be can create some issues over the course of time with their dominance. So I think that you have just as there's multitudes of different consumer journeys, there's going to be a multitude of channel strategies that brands need
Yeah.
to deploy. One of those channels will be working with the likes of an Amazon in the future. It's also going to be direct to consumer relationships has never been more important than it is today and will be critically important going into the future. And so how you build that, your brand, like, consumers love brands and brands want to be love to be brands, right?
Right.
That's value creation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like
That's the fun part of a brand.
the brands that we consume define who we are. Sometimes that's on purpose, and sometimes it's
Yeah.
not. But so you can't create brand value just through an agent, right? I don't believe that. I think the sight, sound, motion of it all, and so how you create that and how that comes to life, consumers are going to want to experience it. They're going to want you to showcase that. And so that comes through the life of, different experiences that you're going to control. And your best customers, I believe, if you use AI technology properly, will continue to use you to go to you direct, and they will find you in different ways. That could be using agents in the future, but that's not holistically the only. It's not going to be the only place in which consumers are going to buy.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, Scott, we have a few minutes left. What are you hoping to get out of Shop Talk this year? Shop Talk Fall? Is there anything besides? Is there anything new right now
I think
besides
the things.
Agentic?
Well, honestly, so because the moment that we're in right now, there's a lot of merchants, and there's platforms, publishers, etc., who are all, they're all in different levels of, um, they're at different stages, of understanding of agentic commerce, and I think I'm there's people who are figuring it out, and there's people who are scared shitless, right? And so the the journey that we're on, there are no clear answers here, but we're at a transformational moment. So to be able to spend time with the different cohorts here to help to both learn and also educate on the journey that we're on is the purpose, because where we were 3 months ago, 6 months ago, is very different than where we are today and where we're going to be in 3 months. This, right, like it's a moving at a
Yeah.
blistering pace. And so, I think that's the value in Shop Talk, to bring everybody together to, kind of create these exchanges and to, create the actions to move forward. You know, that's, it's all encompassing for me right now, to keep tabs and
Yeah.
to, help this ecosystem evolve, which we're super excited to do. So,
All right. Perfect. Scott, it's been such a great conversation. Scott Hendrickson with Firmly. How do they find you?
yeah, find me on LinkedIn, Scott at firmly.ai. Send up a smoke signal.